Something is shifting in the Middle East. The region, long known for its complex web of alliances and rivalries, is now witnessing a new phase of military escalation, with Iran at the center of this transformation. For decades, Iran fought a shadow war, using proxies like Hezbollah and militias in Iraq, engaging in sabotage operations against rival states, and relying on asymmetric tactics to offset its conventional military weaknesses. These covert actions allowed Iran to project power while avoiding direct confrontation with stronger adversaries. But now, Iran is building a conventional military machine, moving from the shadows into the spotlight. The country is investing heavily in modernizing its armed forces, expanding its missile arsenal, and training its troops for large-scale traditional warfare, signaling a major shift in its military doctrine. Advanced Russian jets like the Su-35, secret mountain bases designed to withstand airstrikes, and new alliances with countries such as Russia and China all signal a dramatic transformation. These developments are giving Iran access to cutting-edge technology and strategic depth it never had before. The targets are clear: Israel and the United States. Iran's military buildup is designed to deter, challenge, and potentially strike at these adversaries, reshaping the balance of power across the region and raising the risk of direct conflict. The stakes? Higher than ever. With every new weapon and alliance, the potential for escalation grows, threatening not just regional stability, but also global security and the world's energy supplies. In this video, we'll reveal how Iran is rebuilding its military from the ground up, what advanced weapons and technologies it's acquiring, and why this dramatic shift is happening now, unpacking the motivations, the risks, and the global implications of Iran's military makeover. For decades, Iran's military doctrine relied on asymmetric tactics, using small, fast-attack speedboats to harass larger U.S. Navy vessels in the Persian Gulf, deploying regional proxies like Hezbollah and the Houthis to extend its influence, and launching sophisticated cyber attacks to disrupt adversaries' infrastructure. These methods allowed Iran to punch above its weight, inflicting damage and sowing chaos without engaging in direct large-scale conflict. But now, Iran's ambitions have grown. It's no longer content with just disrupting its enemies. Tehran is actively seeking to transform its armed forces into a formidable conventional military power. This means investing in modern equipment, expanding its air force, and showcasing its growing arsenal in elaborate military parades, signaling to both friends and foes that Iran wants to be seen as a true regional heavyweight. The new strategy is clear. Iran is blending its tried-and-true asymmetric tactics with cutting-edge capabilities. By integrating advanced air power, state-of-the-art air defense systems, and a rapidly expanding arsenal of long-range missiles, Iran aims to deter adversaries and project power far beyond its borders. This hybrid approach is designed to make any potential attack on Iran far more costly and complex. What's driving this transformation? Mounting pressure from adversaries like the US and Israel, ongoing economic sanctions, and the constant threat of military confrontation have forced Iran to adapt. At the same time, shifting global alliances, such as the growing rift between the West and Russia, are opening new doors for Tehran, allowing it to forge partnerships and access resources that were previously out of reach. One of the most significant developments is Iran's deepening partnership with Russia. This relationship is giving Iran access to advanced military technology, including drones, air defense systems, and electronic warfare equipment, capabilities it has long coveted but struggled to acquire due to international sanctions. Russian expertise is also helping Iran modernize its own defense industry, making it less dependent on foreign suppliers. With these new resources, Iran is building a military force designed not just to survive, but to directly challenge the US and Israel in a potential conflict. Massive investments in missile production, base construction, and large-scale military exercises are all part of a broader effort to prepare for high-stakes, high-intensity warfare, moving beyond the survival mindset of the past. The era of low-cost hit-and-run warfare is fading for Iran. Instead, the country is pouring resources into building a military capable of sustained, high-intensity conflict, training its troops for conventional battles, upgrading its armored divisions, and ramping up production of advanced weaponry. This marks a fundamental shift in how Iran prepares for future wars. Ultimately, Iran is preparing to fight a war on its own terms, fortifying underground bases, developing detailed battle plans, and building a command structure capable of coordinating complex operations. This comprehensive military makeover is about more than just survival. It's about shaping the battlefield and dictating the terms of any future conflict. To truly grasp the scale and sophistication of Iran's new defense strategy, you have to look beneath the surface, deep underground, where the country has invested heavily in building a hidden network of military infrastructure that is virtually invisible to satellites and enemy reconnaissance. Over the past decade, Iran has constructed an extensive labyrinth of subterranean bases, often referred to as missile cities, that stretch for miles beneath mountains and deserts. These facilities are designed to be undetectable and impenetrable, with some tunnels reportedly large enough to accommodate trucks, missile launchers, and even aircraft, all hidden from prying eyes and protected from aerial bombardment. Inside these fortified complexes, Iran stores a formidable arsenal: ballistic missiles of various ranges, swarms of drones, and fully operational command centers. The thick layers of rock and reinforced concrete shield these assets from even the most advanced bunker-buster bombs, ensuring that Iran's strategic weapons remain safe and ready for use, even during sustained enemy airstrikes. These underground fortresses are equipped with massive blast doors, some weighing dozens of tons, and sophisticated launch systems that can be activated at a moment's notice. Hidden silos and retractable platforms allow Iran to launch missiles or deploy drones with little warning, enabling a rapid and unexpected retaliation against any aggressor. One of the most advanced examples is the Eagle 44 base, a sprawling underground facility that houses fighter jets in reinforced tunnels. These aircraft can be fueled, armed, and launched directly from within the mountain, allowing Iran to maintain an operational air force even after a devastating first strike, something few countries in the world can claim. The strategic placement of these underground complexes across Iran ensures that the country can launch missiles from multiple, widely dispersed locations. This not only guarantees Iran's ability to strike back after an attack, but also makes it extremely difficult for any enemy to neutralize all of Iran's retaliatory capabilities in a single blow, complicating even the most carefully planned military campaigns. The message to Iran's adversaries is clear. Even if a first strike is launched against Iranian targets, the country's underground missile cities and air bases ensure that it can absorb the initial blow and still deliver a powerful counterattack. This second strike capability is a cornerstone of Iran's deterrent strategy, signaling that any attack will be met with swift and devastating retaliation. By investing in these underground fortresses, Iran has created a powerful deterrent that forces its adversaries to think twice before considering military action. The sheer difficulty of locating and destroying these hidden bases means that any potential conflict with Iran carries enormous risks, fundamentally altering the strategic calculus in the region. For decades, Iran's military was hampered by outdated equipment, much of it dating back to the Shah era and the early years after the 1979 revolution. International sanctions and embargoes meant that Iran's Air Force and other branches had to rely on aging American and European hardware, often cannibalizing old planes for spare parts just to keep a handful flying. But now, that era of stagnation is ending rapidly, as Iran seeks to modernize its arsenal and close the gap with regional rivals. The expiration of the UN arms embargo in 2020, combined with Iran's deepening ties to Russia and China, has dramatically expanded Tehran's access to advanced weaponry. Iranian officials have wasted no time holding high-profile meetings with Russian and Chinese defense representatives and signing deals for everything from fighter jets to missile systems. This new era of arms imports is reshaping the balance of power in the region and giving Iran options it hasn't had in decades. The centerpiece of these acquisitions is Russia's Su-35 fighter jet, a fourth-generation plus aircraft that far outclasses Iran's current fleet of F-14S and F-4S. The Su-35 brings advanced avionics, powerful engines, and cutting-edge weapons systems, giving Iran a credible deterrent against regional adversaries like Israel and Saudi Arabia. Iranian pilots are already training on these jets, preparing to integrate them into the country's air defense network. Iran is also negotiating for Russia's S-400 air defense system, one of the world's most advanced anti-aircraft platforms. The S-400 can track and target multiple aircraft and missiles at long range, making it extremely difficult for enemy forces to penetrate Iranian airspace. If deployed, the S-400 would significantly upgrade Iran's ability to defend its skies and deter potential airstrikes from adversaries. China, meanwhile, is playing a crucial role in boosting Iran's domestic military industries. Chinese technology and expertise are helping Iran upgrade its drone fleet, including the Shahed series, which has already seen action in regional conflicts. In the naval sector, Chinese cooperation is accelerating the construction of new warships and submarines, allowing Iran to project power in the Persian Gulf and beyond. These partnerships are not just about buying weapons, they're about building up Iran's own manufacturing capabilities for the long term. These arms deals are part of a broader strategy to forge a new anti-Western alliance. Iran, Russia, and China are formalizing their military cooperation through a series of agreements and joint summits, presenting a united front against Western influence in the Middle East and beyond. The partnerships go beyond hardware, encompassing intelligence sharing, joint research, and coordinated diplomatic efforts to counter US and European pressure. Joint military exercises and technology transfers are making the armed forces of Iran, Russia, and China increasingly interoperable. These drills allow the three countries to practice coordinated operations, share tactics, and test new equipment in real-world scenarios. Technology exchanges are also enabling Iran to leapfrog years of development, incorporating Russian and Chinese innovations into its own systems and doctrine. For Iran, these developments mark the end of its long period of military isolation. With access to advanced weapons, new alliances, and a revitalized domestic industry, Iran is now better equipped to pursue its regional ambitions and defend itself against external threats. The country's military transformation is not just about new hardware, it's about reshaping its strategic position for years to come. Iran's military planners are not just preparing for a single attack, they're gaming out scenarios involving simultaneous assaults from multiple directions, especially a coordinated offensive by Israel and the US. In secure command centers, top strategists run complex simulations, analyzing how to respond to surprise air raids, cyber intrusions, and even sabotage from within. Their goal: anticipate every possible move by their adversaries, and develop layered responses to keep Iran's defenses resilient under pressure. Their first and most urgent concern is the threat of massive, coordinated airstrikes targeting critical infrastructure and command nodes. That's why the acquisition of advanced Su-35 fighter jets and the deployment of S-400 air defense systems are so vital. These assets, combined with a network of radar stations and mobile missile launchers, are designed to detect, track, and intercept enemy aircraft and cruise missiles before they reach their targets. Regular air defense drills ensure crews are ready to respond within seconds, maximizing the chances of blunting any aerial assault. At sea, Iran's strategy is to transform the Persian Gulf into a highly contested zone, effectively a no-go area for US aircraft carriers and allied warships. This involves deploying swarms of fast attack boats, armed drones, and a wide array of anti-ship missiles hidden along the coastline and on islands. Iranian naval commanders constantly rehearse hit-and-run tactics, electronic jamming, and coordinated missile barrages to overwhelm even the most advanced naval defenses. The aim is to make any attempt to project power into the Gulf extremely risky and costly for adversaries. Cyber warfare is another critical front. Iran is rapidly expanding both its defensive and offensive cyber capabilities. Specialized units are tasked with protecting vital infrastructure like power grids, communication networks, and military databases from foreign hackers. At the same time, offensive teams are developing tools to disrupt enemy logistics, disable command systems, and even target civilian infrastructure in retaliation. These cyber operations are integrated into Iran's overall war plans, ensuring that digital attacks can be launched in tandem with physical strikes. And if a ground invasion ever comes, Iran's response would be multi-layered and far-reaching. Its large standing army, backed by the elite IRGC, is prepared to defend key territory, but Iran's real strength lies in its network of regional proxies. These allied militias spread across Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and Yemen are ready to open new fronts, launch guerrilla attacks, and stretch enemy forces thin across the Middle East. This strategy ensures that any ground conflict quickly escalates beyond Iran's borders, drawing in multiple countries and complicating any invasion plan. Every new weapon system and fortified base unveiled by Iran is part of a broader strategy to make any attack as costly and unpredictable as possible. Underground missile silos, mobile launchers, and secret installations are designed to survive initial strikes and retaliate with precision. Advanced weapons, from hypersonic missiles to stealth drones, are constantly being developed and tested, ensuring that Iran can adapt quickly to new threats and keep its adversaries guessing. Iran's overarching goal is clear: to ensure that any war is not just a local skirmish but a messy, sprawling regional conflict that inflicts heavy costs on its enemies. By leveraging asymmetric tactics, proxy warfare, and the threat of escalation, Iran aims to deter aggression and force adversaries to reconsider the price of intervention. The result would be widespread instability, humanitarian crises, and a conflict that draws in neighboring states and global powers alike. No conflict with Iran will ever be clean or contained. The aftermath would likely include devastated cities, disrupted energy supplies, massive refugee flows, and long-term instability across the region. For Iran's adversaries, the message is unmistakable. Any military confrontation will have far-reaching and unpredictable consequences. Iran's ambitious military overhaul comes with a staggering $10 billion price tag, a bold move considering the country has faced years of crippling international sanctions and economic isolation. This investment signals Tehran's determination to modernize its armed forces and project power in a region marked by instability and fierce competition. The lion's share of this budget is funneled into boosting air power and air defense capabilities. Iran is prioritizing the acquisition of advanced Su-35 fighter jets and the deployment of S-400 missile systems, aiming to counter regional air threats and rival air forces. These upgrades are designed to give Iran a technological edge and strengthen its ability to defend its airspace against potential adversaries. Beyond traditional air assets, Iran is channeling significant resources into developing and fielding a wide array of drones, ballistic missiles, and cutting-edge hypersonic weapons such as the Fateh missile. These investments are intended to expand Iran's strike capabilities, enhance its deterrence posture, and provide flexible options for both conventional and asymmetric warfare. To support this modernization, domestic arms production is being ramped up at an unprecedented pace. Iranian factories are churning out everything from small arms to sophisticated missile systems, with a focus on self-sufficiency and reducing reliance on foreign suppliers. This surge in local manufacturing is also creating jobs and fostering technological innovation within Iran's defense sector. In addition to hardware, Iran is making major investments in cyber warfare capabilities. The government is funding elite hacker units and expanding intelligence operations, aiming to disrupt enemy networks, gather critical information, and defend against digital attacks. Cyber operations are now seen as a crucial front in modern conflict, giving Iran new tools to challenge its adversaries. The overarching strategy is clear: use every available dollar to close the technological gap with regional and global rivals, and to build a credible deterrent that can withstand external pressure. By carefully allocating funds across a spectrum of advanced technologies, Iran hopes to maximize the impact of its limited resources and reshape the balance of power in its favor. Iran is betting that by fielding advanced technology, ranging from missile defense systems to long-range strike weapons, it can raise the cost of any potential attack to an unacceptable level for its enemies. The goal is to deter aggression by making any military intervention against Iran a risky and expensive proposition. Ultimately, this is a high-stakes gamble for Iran's leadership, a calculated risk that investing heavily in military modernization and new alliances will secure the nation's survival and deter threats in an increasingly volatile region. When you add up Iran's new generation of fighter jets, the expansion of vast underground bases hidden beneath mountains, and the construction of concealed airfields designed to evade satellite detection, you see a nation fundamentally transforming its military footprint. These developments allow Iran to protect its most valuable assets from preemptive strikes and maintain operational readiness even under threat. Alongside these military upgrades, shifting alliances are redrawing the strategic map of the Middle East. Countries that once viewed Iran with suspicion are now engaging in cautious diplomacy, while others double down on old rivalries. This evolving web of relationships is fundamentally altering the region's balance of power, making it more unpredictable and volatile than ever before. Iran is no longer just a disruptive force relying on proxies and asymmetric tactics, it's rapidly becoming a conventional military power. With modern tanks, advanced drones, and precision-guided missiles, Iran's armed forces now have the capability to project power across the region and defend its interests in open conflict. For Israel and the United States, this transformation represents an existential threat, one that could challenge their military dominance and strategic interests. For Iran, however, these capabilities are seen as a vital deterrent, a way to prevent foreign intervention and ensure the survival of the regime in a hostile environment. The introduction of hypersonic missiles and state-of-the-art air defense systems has dramatically raised the stakes of any potential conflict. These technologies can evade traditional defenses and strike targets with unprecedented speed, making the cost of miscalculation or escalation far higher for all sides involved. Years of crippling sanctions have pushed Iran to deepen its ties with Russia and China, forging a new anti-Western axis. These partnerships go beyond mere symbolism. They include joint military exercises, technology transfers, and coordinated diplomatic efforts to counter Western influence in global affairs. This emerging alliance provides Iran with crucial diplomatic cover, allowing it to resist international pressure and assert its interests on the world stage. With support from major powers, Iran now has a stronger voice in global forums and greater leverage in negotiations. The result is a new, more dangerous balance of terror, one where the margin for error is razor-thin. Any miscalculation, misunderstanding, or provocation could quickly spiral into a full-scale regional war, with devastating consequences for millions. The old rules of engagement no longer apply, and the world is watching with bated breath to see what comes next in this high-stakes geopolitical contest. The future of the Middle East, and perhaps global security, hangs in the balance. But there's a new player casting a long shadow over the region: China. In recent years, Beijing has steadily increased its diplomatic, economic, and military footprint across the Middle East, signaling a shift in the global balance of power. Chinese officials have been seen forging new partnerships, negotiating arms deals, and participating in joint military exercises, all of which point to a long-term strategy to expand influence far beyond Asia. Beijing's recent provision of advanced fighter jets and air defense systems isn't just about arms sales, it's about reshaping the future of warfare in the Middle East. These deals come with technology transfers, training programs for local forces, and even the establishment of maintenance hubs, ensuring that Chinese hardware remains operational and effective for years to come. This approach not only boosts Iran's military capabilities but also deepens its dependency on Chinese expertise and logistics. Chinese jets like the J-10 and stealthier models offer Iran capabilities it's never had before: longer range, more advanced avionics, and better survivability against Western air power. These aircraft are equipped with cutting-edge radar systems, electronic warfare suites, and precision-guided munitions, allowing Iranian pilots to challenge adversaries in ways previously unimaginable. The training of Iranian crews on these platforms also marks a significant leap in operational readiness and tactical flexibility. With Chinese radar networks and missile batteries integrated into Iran's defenses, the skies over the Gulf become a far more dangerous place for any adversary. These systems provide overlapping coverage, real-time data sharing, and the ability to track and engage multiple targets simultaneously. The result is a layered air defense shield that complicates any potential air campaign by Israel or the United States, raising the risks and costs of intervention. This technology leap could blunt Israel's traditional air superiority and force the US to rethink how it projects power in the region. Israeli pilots, once accustomed to operating with near impunity, now face sophisticated threats that require new tactics and countermeasures. Meanwhile, American military planners must consider the possibility of contested airspace and the need for more robust electronic warfare and missile defense capabilities to protect their assets and allies. But the implications go even deeper. Intelligence agencies across the globe are closely monitoring the flow of Chinese technology and advisors into Iran, concerned about the potential for rapid advancements in command, control, and communications infrastructure. These upgrades could enable Iran to coordinate complex operations, respond faster to threats, and even conduct electronic attacks against enemy networks, fundamentally altering the region's military dynamics. Every Chinese shipment ties Tehran more closely to Beijing, embedding Chinese influence inside the region's military calculus. These deliveries often include not just weapons, but also spare parts, technical manuals, and teams of Chinese engineers who help integrate new systems into Iran's existing arsenal. Over time, this deepening relationship could give China unprecedented leverage over Iran's strategic decisions and military posture. In a future conflict, Iran's ability to counter Western airstrikes or even threaten vital shipping lanes would be transformed. Enhanced missile capabilities and improved naval assets could allow Iran to disrupt global energy supplies, target enemy bases, and impose significant costs on any coalition seeking to challenge its interests. The Strait of Hormuz, a critical choke point for world oil shipments, could become a flashpoint with far-reaching economic consequences. The Middle East's next war may not just be a regional showdown, it could become a proxy testbed for global powers, where every missile fired echoes far beyond the desert skies. As China, the US and Russia vie for influence, the region risks becoming a battleground for advanced technologies and new doctrines, with local conflicts serving as proving grounds for the world's most powerful militaries. The stakes, both for the Middle East and the wider world, have never been higher. Iran's military is now faster, stronger, and more advanced than ever before, thanks to years of focused investment in homegrown technology, rapid modernization of its air and ground forces, and a renewed emphasis on asymmetric warfare capabilities that allow it to project power far beyond its borders. The shadow war that once defined Iran's regional strategy is over. A new era of open power projection has begun, with Iran openly displaying its military assets, conducting joint drills with new allies, and signaling its willingness to confront adversaries head-on in the region's most volatile hotspots. The question now is whether this massive buildup is purely defensive, meant to deter foreign intervention and protect Iran's sovereignty, or if it's a calculated tool for regional dominance, designed to reshape the balance of power and expand Tehran's influence from the Mediterranean to Central Asia. The answer remains unclear, with experts divided and world leaders on edge, and that uncertainty is exactly what makes the current situation so dangerous, as even a minor misstep or misunderstanding could trigger a rapid escalation with global consequences. The risk of miscalculation is higher than ever, as advanced weaponry, real-time intelligence, and heightened alert levels mean that any incident, intentional or accidental, could spiral out of control before diplomacy has a chance to intervene. What do you think? Is this a necessary rebalancing of power in a region long dominated by outside forces, or are we witnessing the prelude to a new and potentially devastating war that could draw in global powers and reshape the world order? Let us know in the comments below. Your perspective matters, and we want to hear how you see these dramatic changes unfolding. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more deep dives into global security, and stay tuned as we continue to track the world's most critical flashpoints. The big question on the table is whether Russia will actually deliver the advanced weapons systems that Iran has ordered, or if mounting international pressure and shifting priorities will force Moscow to cancel or delay the shipment. This decision is not just about fulfilling a contract, it's about weighing the risks of angering Western powers, the potential for escalating regional tensions, and the impact on Russia's own military needs as it navigates ongoing conflicts. In this chapter, we dive deep into the complex web of geopolitical pressures facing Russia. We examine recent diplomatic signals, such as high-level meetings and public statements, and analyze the strategic calculations that Moscow must make. These include balancing its relationship with Iran against its broader interests in the Middle East, managing its image on the world stage, and responding to the ever-changing dynamics of international alliances and rivalries. We take a closer look at official statements from Russian diplomats and government spokespeople, parsing their words for clues about Moscow's intentions. We also consider the impact of international sanctions, both existing and potential new ones, on Russia's decision-making process. Additionally, we explore how the evolving alliance between Moscow and Tehran is influencing not just arms deals but also broader cooperation in areas like energy, intelligence sharing, and regional security. The risks and benefits for Russia in moving forward with the arms deal are significant. On one hand, delivering the weapons could strengthen its strategic partnership with Iran and secure lucrative defense contracts. On the other, it risks provoking backlash from Western countries, potentially leading to harsher sanctions or diplomatic isolation. We also look at how global reactions, from world leaders, the media, and even public protests, could influence the final outcome and shape Russia's future role in the region. Stay tuned as we break down the possible scenarios, from full delivery to last-minute cancellations, and analyze what each outcome could mean for the balance of power in the Middle East, the future of Iran-Russia relations, and the broader landscape of global security. Iran's decision to transition its GPS infrastructure to China's system marks a significant technological and strategic shift. Previously, Iran depended heavily on Western GPS networks, which left its military and civilian sectors exposed to potential disruptions or surveillance by adversarial powers. By collaborating with Chinese experts and integrating advanced navigation technologies, Iran is now able to control and monitor its own navigation data more securely. reducing the risk of foreign interference in critical operations. In recent years, Iran has moved away from Western GPS systems and adopted China's Beidou navigation system, a global satellite network developed to rival the American GPS and Russian GLONASS. This transition involved upgrading ground stations, training Iranian personnel on Beidou protocols, and integrating the system into both military and civilian platforms. The Beidou system provides Iran with access to high-precision positioning, navigation, and timing services, which are crucial for modern warfare, logistics, and national infrastructure. The shift to Beidou comes at a time of escalating geopolitical tensions, particularly between Iran and Western nations. Concerns over the reliability of Western satellite services have grown, especially with the threat of sanctions, cyber attacks, or deliberate signal jamming. By diversifying its navigation sources, Iran aims to safeguard its military operations, missile guidance systems, and critical infrastructure from being compromised or disabled during periods of conflict or diplomatic strain. By switching to Beidou, Iran not only enhances its independence but also boosts the resilience of its armed forces and civilian sectors. Iranian missiles, drones, and armored vehicles now rely on a navigation system that is less susceptible to Western control or disruption. This upgrade allows for more accurate targeting, improved coordination of military convoys, and reliable navigation in remote or contested areas, giving Iran a strategic edge in both defense and offense. The Chinese Beidou system offers Iran secure, encrypted, and reliable positioning data, which is essential for both military and civilian applications. Unlike Western systems, Beidou's regional augmentation services provide even higher accuracy over the Middle East, and its anti-jamming capabilities make it harder for adversaries to disrupt Iranian operations. This reduces Iran's vulnerability to Western sanctions, signal interference, or attempts to block access to navigation data during crises. This strategic partnership with China not only strengthens Iran's technological autonomy, but also deepens its military and economic alliance with Beijing. The collaboration extends beyond navigation, encompassing joint research, technology transfers, and coordinated regional strategies. As Iran and China work more closely together, their combined capabilities could challenge existing power structures in the Middle East, potentially reshaping the regional balance and influencing global geopolitics for years to come. The world now waits at a crossroads, where the future of not just Iran but the entire Middle East hangs in the balance. The choices made in the coming months could redefine alliances, redraw boundaries, and alter the global balance of power. In the aftermath of the recent missile attack and Iran's decisive strategic pivot toward China's advanced satellite navigation systems, one question looms larger than ever. How will these new military and technological partnerships influence Iran's next move on the world stage? Will Iran take the final, irreversible step and develop a nuclear weapon, crossing a threshold that would trigger global alarm? Or will it continue to confine its atomic ambitions to civilian energy and scientific research, maintaining a delicate balance to avoid direct confrontation? International observers, from UN nuclear inspectors to military analysts and journalists, scrutinize every development, searching for clues in official statements, satellite images, and even the smallest changes in Iran's nuclear facilities. Some experts point to Iran's rapidly advancing technological alliances, the construction of hardened underground facilities, and the presence of highly skilled scientists as clear indicators of a possible military agenda that goes beyond peaceful purposes. The deployment of ballistic missiles in fortified silos, the movement of armored vehicles into deep bunkers, and the stockpiling of military equipment in reinforced shelters are seen by many as preparations for a potential escalation, signaling intentions that may not be purely defensive. Others argue that, despite the often fiery rhetoric from Iranian leaders and official press conferences in Tehran, the government's true intentions remain more nuanced and calculated. Iran's leaders may still prefer the leverage of ambiguity, using the mere possibility of nuclear capability as a powerful bargaining chip in diplomatic negotiations, rather than committing to a path that could isolate the country or provoke military intervention. By advancing nuclear technology while stopping short of weaponization, Iran keeps the international community guessing, using its atomic program as a tool for negotiation, sanctions relief, and regional influence, rather than as an immediate threat. For now, the answer remains shrouded in secrecy and speculation, with classified documents, restricted facilities, and redacted intelligence reports fueling uncertainty and debate among world powers. But one thing is clear, decisions made by Iran's top leadership, whether in parliament or behind closed doors, will have profound consequences for the nation and the world. The choices made in Tehran will ripple far beyond its borders, affecting neighboring countries, shifting regional alliances, and prompting new security measures across the Middle East. In the end, these decisions will shape not only the security, but also the uncertainty of the region for years to come, leaving the world to watch, wait, and wonder what the next chapter will bring.